Hello, how's everyone doing today? The topic today that we're going to talk about is possibility. So I think it will be a really useful topic for anyone, no matter what use. I don't know, no matter if you need English for work or just for your personal interest. I will say yesterday I was teaching someone the modals of possibility, and I had the realization because they are the words may and might. And I had the realization that that rhymes with day and night. And I thought that was very interesting because a lot of the time people mix up the vowel sounds. So may and might sounds like day and night. And I thought that was so interesting. And I think my student was not as impressed by my realization because I was like, may and might, it's just like day and night. Okay, yeah, a lot of people are sick these days. I've had several students that are sick. So I think in different countries too, maybe it's because of the change of weather in different countries, perhaps. A site or YouTube channel for listening and speaking. You guys can follow me on YouTube, Charm English Maggie. Another YouTube channel that I personally really like is Rachel's English. I always recommend her. I don't know about her vocabulary videos are fine, but I think really what's good about her channel is the pronunciation videos. Like she does exercises where she analyzes people's speaking and shows you how to listen for the different sounds. And I think those videos are really good specifically. Okay. Yes, exactly. The terremoto is like a dirty soda. Exactly. It's I don't know if any of you have seen this, but in the United States, in Utah, there are a lot of Mormons and they can't drink alcohol or smoke or anything like that. So the common vice that people have is sugar. And so that's why Crumble Cookie is from Utah, because it's so sickly sweet. Also, yeah, I do have English classes on my website. If you go to the link in my bio, my main classes that I offer are small group classes with up to 4 people, 75 minutes, B1 and B2 level. All have different conversational topics, but we do different exercises, creative exercises, and I think they're a lot of fun. And I have some small spots for coaching, which is one-on-one sessions with my sister, who is also a teacher. So when we're talking about possibility, one of the important structures that we have in English is modal verbs. We have 3 different options when we want to say that something is possible or maybe will happen. The 3 options are may, might, and could. All of these have the base verb after. So, for example, we have she might come later. It's it's possible, maybe she will come later. It could rain this evening. This is a synonym. It's possible. There's a possibility that it will rain this evening, and they may take a while to get here. May is very similar to might and could, but it does sound a bit more formal. So keep that in mind. I would say might and could would be more conversationally common. Also, so if you can think of an example, maybe you can tell me what might happen today. It might rain. That's perfect. Exactly. These, I think, are kind of easy to use because you only need to add any verb after. So it might rain, she might go. It's something you can add to your sentences without worrying about the conjugation. So another important thing, and if you have an example, definitely write it in the chat. I'll go on to explain some other stuff. So one important thing is when you're using the negative to say that something might not happen, in that case, we need to say might not or may not, because if you say it could not happen, that is only used for the past ability. So when we're talking in the positive way, you can use could in these 2 different ways. You can use could to say it could rain, like there's a possibility, Or you could use could as the past of can. I could speak English when I was a child. But then when you are using the negative, if you say it could not rain, then it sounds like you're saying it was not possible in the past for that to happen. So for that reason, in the positive, we can use may, might, and could. It's all good. But in the negative, do not use could if you're talking about possibility, only when you're talking about ability. May I know your name? Also, may in that case is kind of like asking for permission for something. May I know your name? May you, I don't know. People often say, may I go to the bathroom instead of can I go to the bathroom, because may is supposed to be used for permission. I think it's okay to say, can I go to the bathroom? Because maybe in the past that was not correct, but now it's so common that people say that it does not matter. It's understood. Can for high possibility. It can. I would say can to say that it's possible to happen. Yeah, I mean, it can rain anywhere in the world because it's an option that exists. But could is like, okay, but is it probable or possible that it will happen? Yes or no? So can and could are a little bit different, where can is used more for ability to just say if it's like an option or not. Any other examples of something that might or may happen today? Or maybe something that you think, this is a good one. What is something that you think might happen in the next 10 years, for example? Like, do you think that AI could take your job? Do you think that your country might have I don't know, an economic boom? What do you think might happen in the next 10 years? I might visit my grandparents. Nice. Perfect. Another situation is, so all of these could be used when something is possible in this reality, but remember that you could also, in the second conditional, instead of would, we can use could or might. So if I had $1 million, I might buy a big house, for example. So might could also be used replacing would in the second conditional if you want to say it is a possibility in this unreal reality. So that's another important thing. It might be sunny today. Nice. Okay, I'm going to go to the next part because I have more things to show you. These are common phrases. So the first one, and I think this is really important for a lot of Romance language speakers, people use the word probable because it's similar to the Latin word, but it's also really common, I think more common, to use the word likely. So be sure to also pay attention to words that are different from your native language. And likely does not just mean like, it means that it's probable. So you could say with those, exactly, the United States or the EU might not pose 100% tariffs on India. Hopefully not. It might be rainy today. So you could say it might rain today, or it might be rainy. If you use be, you need to use afterwards an adjective or ing verb could also be. But I think adjective would sound the most natural. So it might rain or it might be rainy. With likely and unlikely, you could say, with those qualifications, she's likely to get the job. And pay attention to the connector that comes after here. She's likely to, or she's unlikely to get the job. So that's important. She's likely to get the job. She's unlikely to get the job. You could also say there's a chance. There's a chance the flight will be delayed. This next one is not so formal, but it's very common, including in workplaces. The odds are we'll see him at the party. That's like the possibility is high of this happening. Odds are we'll see him at the party. The odds are in our favor. The probability is high for us. The odds are, it's possible that sales will increase next quarter. And we have leave the door open. We'll leave the door open for a follow-up meeting. Nice. So, for example, what are the odds, maybe? Okay, let me see. Many species might go extinct as a consequence of climate change. Perfect. I mean, that's a very tragic situation, but there's definitely a chance of that happening. Odds are that that will happen. I'm likely to go out with my friends this evening because I've finished everything at home. Perfect. That's a good example. Yeah. So if this would be really good if you are talking to someone and you're not sure, but you want to say that it is a high possibility. So they're like, are you coming out with us tonight to drink terremotos and celebrate the, I don't know, national holiday? You can say, there's a chance. Odds are that I'll come. It's possible that you'll see me. I'll leave the door open for the plan with you. Remember, my sister is likely to immigrate to Canada. Nice. My sister is likely to immigrate to Canada. It's possible that she will do it. Odds are she'll be living in Canada this time next year. The other thing with odds are, it's really common that people omit so they might also just say, odds are she'll move to Canada, for example. I'm thinking of another one. Maybe if someone's like, are you going to quit your job and start working at our company? I could say, I'm unlikely to do that, but I'll leave the door open for it. So I'm unlikely to do that, but I'll leave the door open in case I change my mind. Odds are I won't change my mind, but there's a chance I will, so I'll leave the door open for it, even though I'm unlikely to at this point in time. There's a chance he'll win the match. Nice. Remember, after will, you do not need to use be, so you can say, there's a chance he will win, and just put the verb right after. We are likely to run out of milk if we don't go to the store soon. Nice. Okay, what does odd mean? Yeah, odd is interesting. This word has multiple meanings. One meaning is if a person is an odd person, they are a weird person or strange as an adjective. Another meaning is the numbers that are not multiples of 2. So like 1, 3, 5, 7, these are odd numbers. We have odd numbers and even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8. And odd also, in this case, refers to a high possibility. It's like to say that there is a high chance. So the odds are in our favor. It's like the high chance of something happening is there. So odds are we'll see him. There is a high chance that we will see him, is the idea with odd in this situation. So it's used to say that there is a high chance. I don't know the etymology of that. That could be helpful to know. Let me see if I can pull something up here related to that phrase. Why do we say? Historically, okay, let me see. Here's why. We say odds are because historically odds referred to unequal chances or conditions, particularly in betting. And by the late 1500s, it meant the balance of probability. The phrase, odds are, directly states that likelihood or choice of an event occurring, often implying a greater than 50% probability for a specific outcome. Odds are is an idiom that functions as a synonym for the chances are or the likelihood is. So if you say the odds are they'll win, it's like saying the probability that they win is high. There's a chance that he'll miss the bus. I remember when I was in high school, it was middle school. I was in this musical about baseball, and I think that we sang a song with the word odds are, but I don't know if I remember the lyrics well enough to share it, so ignore that. Okay, useful words. Here we have some examples with them. So we have chance. For example, there is a chance we'll win. I think a lot of people know this one. It's like there is a possibility that we will win. Likelihood. The likelihood is low. This is like the possibility is low. Probability. The probability is high. So I want you to remember that likelihood and probability are synonyms. And if you only use the word probability, try to also pay attention to this word likelihood, because it is likely that you will hear it maybe even more than the word probability. Both are common words, but I think I don't hear enough English students ever use the word likely or likelihood. Prospect. This one is a little bit more formal sounding. The prospect looks good. It's like the chances. That's another way to say the chances look good. The prospect looks good. Odds. Like I said before, that's the possibility, the probability of something happening. The odds are against us, so that means that it's more difficult for us. Possibility of rain. There's a risk involved. And we also have this word outcome. Outcome is similar to result. So the outcome is uncertain. The result is uncertain. And if you have any examples, like Aram wrote, there's a chance he'll win the match. Nice. Exactly. So I'm thinking of a question to ask everyone. Yes, likelihood is the same as probability. So maybe I'll say, what's the likelihood? I want you to tell me, what's the likelihood that we will colonize Mars? That's my question. What's the likelihood that we will colonize Mars? What do you think? I don't like the odds. I don't like the odds. Yeah, you could say that if you're like, are you going to invest in our opportunity? You can say, I would, but I really don't like the odds. I would prefer to invest in something that has a higher chance of me getting a return on my investment. Like if you don't like the chance of it going well for you, you could say that you don't like the odds. In the future, the probability is high. Okay. The outcome of we understand all of this is uncertain. The outcome of we understand. I think, are you trying to say like the outcome that we understand all of this is uncertain? The outcome. I would say maybe instead of outcome, like the likelihood or the probability that we understand all of this is uncertain. We might colonize in 30 years. Okay. The likelihood is low. I will invest in something that has more probability. Under these conditions, the likelihood of a successful biological invasion is high. Okay, I like that sentence. Colonize means to go to, for example, the British colonized America and India and many countries in Africa. When they came to the country and decided to create their own government and take from the indigenous people that were living in different places in the world. The Spanish, when they came to Latin America and decided that the land was theirs and started to, say that it was part of their country. That is a colony. So at some point, the different countries in Latin America were colonies of Spain. And so that is to colonize. It's like if we went to Mars and said, this land of Mars belongs to the people of Earth, that would be to colonize Mars, to take it and take the resources. There is a chance we'll hold excursions to Mars if we pay a lot of money. Yeah, I could see that happening first, maybe. Instead of fully colonizing Mars, maybe people paying for excursions to Mars. The odds are higher of that happening. There is a likelihood that all countries will start to buy areas. Hey, yeah. I know Antarctica has different countries have their, stations, Arctic stations on Antarctica. So, what are the odds of us never using coins or paper money again? Like this completely disappearing from society. What are the odds of that happening? And someone asked, how can I improve my speaking skills? Yeah, to be honest, I've made some videos about this. There are a lot of different videos about it, but what I would say is a couple of things. One, for speaking, definitely practice your pronunciation. You can do this even by reading out loud, because part of speaking is you're using, like in English, we have vowel sounds that do not exist in a lot of people's languages. We have combinations of sounds that are difficult to say. So it's really important that you practice speaking before the moment of speaking in a conversation, because if you feel confident and you like the way you sound, that will help you a lot to feel better when you're talking. Another thing, really, truly practice is the most important thing. You cannot try a couple times and say, oh, why am I bad at speaking? It's not that you're bad, it's a lack of practice. So you really need someone to practice with. You can practice at home. I think it's important to practice your improvisation skills. So thinking of the words in the moment. So narrating what you're doing can help. Timing yourself to talk about a topic. There are a lot of tips, but you definitely need to practice, especially the improvisation. It will help you realize what vocabulary words you don't remember in the moment of speaking, and also your pronunciation. Okay, let me see. In my country, we use paper money less. We have perfect bank system, which allows to transfer money immediately in 1 second. Okay, what country do you live in? I'm curious. The odds are very high. Yeah, that's a good response. The odds are very high that we will never use coins or paper money again. Super high in the very near future. Yeah, I think it's already happening in some places where, okay, Kazakhstan. That's interesting. I've never been to Kazakhstan. But in the US, for example, now people don't even use the card all the time. People use their phone, which has the digital wallet on the phone. And I saw a video of people in China who just scan their faces in order to pay for things. In my country, we don't need to use more coins or paper if you have a smartphone. Yeah, remember after need to say to. In my country, we don't need to use. I think there's a high possibility of us never using cash again. Nice. The likelihood is high because every day there are more ways to use in apps and web, maybe like websites or web pages. Nice. Okay, I have here, I'm going to show you something else, but where I live, we use paper money a lot. Remember, a lot. And we barely use credit card. Well, most people don't have it. Okay, what country do you live in? That's very different from the reality in Kazakhstan. I'm going to show phrasal verbs. Okay. Feel free, if you still have a response to that, feel free to add it, but I'm going to show you some different phrasal verbs that we can use to talk about possibility. Kurdistan, Iraq. So in Kurdistan, Iraq, you still need to use paper money. Probably we will have more chances to pay more taxes. True. I think that happens when you make a digital transaction, it's easier for it to be taxed. So when we're talking, and this is interesting, that happens with phrasal verbs. When we're talking about something like probability or result or outcome, you'll notice the second word in all of these phrasal verbs that I'm about to share is out or up. And so that's a very common word in phrasal verbs that are talking about the likelihood of a specific result or outcome. It's common to use a phrasal verb that has out or that has up, because both of those are kind of connected to result or the end of something or that sort of thing. So, for example, turn out, we're saying that the result is a certain way. So it turned out okay. You could also hear someone say this about their kids, like, oh, my kids turned out okay, even though they had a difficult life or something. I don't know. Like talking about how in the end they grew up and they are okay. The result is okay. It turned out okay. End up is very similar to turn out, but it's like the result of the situation as well. So we could end up staying. We could end up is used with another verb after to say the result that you did of what is the action that you did? So he told us to leave, but in the end, it's like saying in the end what happened. But we ended up staying. In the end, we stayed. This is what happened. So we have to turn out and to end up. And if you have any examples, definitely write them because I think it will help others seeing more examples too. To pan out, this is very similar to turn out, but it's a very informal, it's like another informal way to say it. Let's see how it pans out. But it's the type of informal where you could also hear people using it at an office, like in a business setting. You could see people saying, well, let's see how our new project pans out. Let's see what the result is of this new project. So we have to turn out and pan out, to end up, to work out. That is also like, what is the solution of something? So in the end, everything is going to work out, is like everything is going to have a solution and be good in the end. It will all work out in the end. We also have to open up. So this opens up new jobs. This opens up new opportunities. Open up is to say that we are basically opening the door for more options. Next, we have to rule out. To rule out is basically to be able to eliminate something. So imagine there's a crime and someone steals money from a store and there's a list of suspects and you could say, well, this man is 80 years old. Can we rule him out? Like, can we cross him off the list? Can we eliminate him from the possibilities? I could say, no, we cannot rule him out because I think that he is still a suspect. It's not impossible that he did the crime, so we cannot rule him out. To rule out is like to eliminate something from the possibilities. Maybe I'm feeling sick. I could say, well, I don't have a fever, so I can rule out COVID or coronavirus. That's not on the list of possibilities. It's probably something else like a cold. So it's like to eliminate something from the list of possibilities. That is to rule out. To play out is very similar to work out, except this is like to show the end results of things without you maybe directly affecting it. So it's like you put all of the pieces into place and you're just going to see how the end result is. So you could say, for example, let me think. Also, hi, JFE. You could look at an example like, well, I applied for a bunch of different jobs. I'm not sure which job I'm going to get, but I'll see how it plays out. I'll see what the result is about this situation. So if any of you have any examples of any of these phrasal verbs, definitely let me know. I saw that a couple of you wrote something in the chat, so I'm going to check on that while you absorb this information. Just my 2 cents, but that's a long shot that you end up getting in trouble. Yeah, I like that one. I actually have that on the next list. That's a long shot. Also, I agree with this advice that it's really good to shadow people as a way to practice your English. Definitely. Yeah. That's something that I've done also with my Spanish. It's a lot easier when instead of you need some sort of external input in order to improve in your language skills. You can't just try to translate everything you say. It's best to also find people to imitate their words and phrases, especially because in English, things are pronounced so differently from how they're written. It's very necessary to try to imitate the way people talk. I don't rule out a trip to Japan this year. It might turn out okay. Nice. So the first time I met her, I didn't like her, but it turned out she's a great person. That's a good example. After all, he turned out to be a good man. I like that one too. Yeah. So it's like in the end result, was this: he turned out to be a good man. Yeah, let me see. Maybe I can give you guys more examples of play out. I have some here. So the phrasal verb to play out most commonly means to happen or develop in a particular way, often with the sense of unfolding or becoming known over time, such as, let's see how things play out. It can also mean to finish or conclude something, like playing a game to the end, or to use up or exhaust something gradually. So the way that we're using it here is to happen or develop over time. For example, it will be interesting to see how the election plays out. Or let's wait and see how things play out. So it's like you're watching things develop over time. I stopped communicating with friends who always complain. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah. Here it's not necessary would. You can just say, let's see how it plays out is perfect. We decided to go picnic, but it started raining, so we ended up not going. Nice. I would just remember to put, if you're talking about a specific situation in the past, I would put all of the verbs into the past. So we decided to go picnic, but it started raining, so we ended up not going. I should rule out some diseases to get to the correct one. Exactly. Yeah. I really like this one, rule out. It's a good phrasal verb to use. You have to open up your mind to new possibilities. True. Let me see if I can give you more examples of rule out. So to rule out, this one is to eliminate something as a possibility or to prevent something from happening. It can also mean to exclude someone or something as unsuitable. For example, one might rule out a certain solution because it's too expensive, or rule out a suspect in a criminal investigation. So, for example, the police have not ruled out murder as a possibility, or his age effectively ruled him out as a possible candidate. So those would be the typical situations when we would use rule out. The phrasal verb pan out means to develop or turn out in a particular way, so it's really a synonym of turn out. It is frequently used to describe the result of a plan, project, or situation. That's why it's kind of informal, but it's very common to use at work. So to succeed, I was worried about the job interview, but thankfully everything panned out well. We'll just have to see how the new business venture pans out. Or you could use it negatively. Their attempt to start a new company didn't pan out. And this is interesting. This is the origin of the phrase. So this expression comes from the California gold rush in the mid-19th century. The original meaning is that gold prospectors would use a shallow metal pan to sift through river gravel. They would swirl the pan to wash away the lighter dirt and rock, hoping that the heavier gold flakes would remain at the bottom. So if the process was successful and the gold was found, the prospecting panned out. The phrase was then adopted into general use to describe any situation that receives a positive or successful outcome. So that's really interesting. In the California gold rush in the mid-19th century, they were using pans to try to get gold, and if you had a good result, it panned out. So it's similar to turn out, except with the positive idea. So I hope it pans out, or it didn't pan out, is like it didn't turn out well. Tom was ruled out by HR from the selection process for the job. Nice. We can't rule out the possibility of snow tomorrow. We'd better rule out that strategy and map out others to solve. Nice. Hi single porpoise. Hello. Hi coral. Okay, very good examples, everyone. I have here also some expressions and idioms. So the first one we've already talked about, but there's a good chance or a great chance. Remember that it's common to use good or great chance means the same like a high probability. So there's a good chance she'll accept. This one Alex used earlier, a long shot. So it's a long shot to win. You could say, let's try. Okay, I'll try, but it's a long shot. Like, it's gonna be difficult. It's a long shot. there's a low probability, or it's very risky or very challenging to succeed in this situation. And this comes from shooting, I'm pretty sure, because if your target is very far away, it's a long shot. We were too hungry, so we ended up fasting. Okay. Next, we have up in the air. This is like if something is still undecided, it's up in the air. Your plans can be up in the air, for example. What are you doing this weekend? I'm not sure yet. My plans are still up in the air. Oh, where are you going for vacation? I don't know. It's still up in the air. We're deciding between two places. Okay. Then we have, and I'm going to have to give you guys more explanation, I think, for all of these. So a long shot, it's difficult to achieve. It's a low possibility or very low probability. Stop moving. I'm trying to move my face here. I'll go down here. There we go. It's just like when I go into the part where you guys are talking, it's harder for me to read the comments. Before running a business, make sure to test the waters because there's a long shot that things pan out well. Nice. That's a good one. Lots of idiomatic expressions there. There's a good chance I'll fall asleep before 9 p.m. Same. My dream of visiting USA is up in the air. Nice. Okay, the next one that we have here is touch and go. Touch and go. So to give a more specific definition, it means that something is possible but uncertain if it's touch and go. So you could say, for example, it was touch and go whether she could reach the... It was touch and go whether she would win the race or not. So it's possible, but at some points it looked like it was not going to happen, is touch and go. It's uncertain. The doctor said that it's touch and go whether Mary will be okay. It's uncertain whether Mary will be okay. So it's up in the air is like undecided. Touch and go is like uncertain. A long shot is a low probability. They're all kind of similar. So if you wanted to use one of these in a sentence, you could think of something that maybe you want, but it's very difficult or a long shot. I want to win the lottery, but it's a long shot. I'm deciding if I want to buy a ticket for the lottery, but it's still up in the air. It looked like maybe I will win the lottery, but it is touch and go. It's uncertain. Let me see what you guys are saying. It's touch and go that I will call him after our arguing. Nice. Okay. Then the other one, this is also really common, hit or miss. If any of you have heard this before, that's very similar to touch and go. It's like that something seems successful and unsuccessful, like from one moment to the next. So I'm going to write that here. Hit and miss. It was touch and go for a while, but it all panned out. That's a really good example. I want to marry him, but it's a touch and go relationship. You also say like hot and cold relationship. My trip to the Maldives is up in the air because a storm is coming. Ooh, I hope you can go to the Maldives. There's a great chance she'll own her restaurant. Nice. Okay, so if something is hit and miss, you cannot depend on it to be of good quality, on time, accurate, etc. So the trains are often late, so getting to work on time is a hit or miss situation. It's like you cannot rely or depend on it. It's very unreliable. It's hit or miss. His approach is hit or miss. It's like maybe sometimes they work, but sometimes it doesn't work. My pickup lines are hit or miss. That's a good example. My pickup lines are hit or miss. Sometimes people want to hit me when I use them. It's touch and go whether that restaurant will satisfy my palate. After all, eating out is hit or miss. This is an amazing example here. Very good. Yeah, it's hit or miss. If I ask you about something that's unsure, or like sometimes it is good, sometimes it's bad, especially cooking. Like if you know someone and sometimes when they cook, it turns out well and other times it does not pan out, you could say it's very hit or miss. how her cooking is. Or I like to make bread, but it's really hit or miss. Sometimes when I make it, it does not turn out well. Okay, then we have in the cards. That's like it's possible if something is in the cards. There are so many English idioms that come from cards, poker card games, that if something is in the cards, it's like you have it as an option or a possibility. For example, a promotion might be in the cards. It's possible that I'll get promoted. It's not completely out of the question. It's in the cards. In my career, getting money is a long shot. Yeah, here you could just say, in my career, getting money is a long shot, and that's perfect. Getting a promotion is not in the cards for me. Yeah, I'm curious for all of you. You can use this as an example. Is it in the cards for you to get a promotion? Is it touch and go? Like it seems like it could happen or not happen? Is it up in the air? Like someone is still deciding if you're going to get a promotion? Is it a long shot? Like a really difficult thing to happen? Or maybe it's just not in the cards at all. That could also be the case. And the last two we've already talked about, but you could leave the door open for a possibility, like make it still possible that it could happen. You're not going to burn those bridges. And the last one, the odds are. So there is a chance that something will happen. Odds are we'll be late. In the cards means likely or certain to happen, stemming from the practice of fortune telling or reading cards. It suggests that an event is part of a foreseen outcome, much like a particular hand might be dealt in a card game or prediction from a tarot reading. I don't think they will win the championship this year. It's just not in the cards for them. A New Year's wedding was in the cards for the couple. Or a promotion wasn't in the cards for her at that company, so she looked for other opportunities. Those are some examples. Odds are they won't come over. Nice. I'm gonna move my face. Her cooking is hit or miss. Nice. Odds are I'll quit smoking this year. I'm not sure though, but it's definitely in the cards. Yeah, I'm going to ask that question. So, what's in the cards for you this year? That's a good question. What's in the cards for you this year? Odds are that she'll break up with him after it turned out that he was cheating. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my goodness. It's a long shot, but I hope she leaves that door open and breaks up with him. Sorry, if you practice your speaking skills, you'll be a great speaker. Yes, true. So think about it this way. What is in the cards for you this year? What is in the cards for you this year? Maybe in my case, it's a long shot, but I could improve my German to the intermediate level by the next year. It's a long shot and it's really hit or miss how much I study, but it is a possibility. Odds are I'll get a new job. That's in the cards. Fake it till you make it. Nice. My favorite expression in English. Fake it till you make it. Nice. So what is in the cards for you? Think if you have any of you been to a tarot card reader who has told you what's in the cards? I have had my tarot cards read before. I think one time they found like the death card and all this like terrible stuff. I will transfer to another city this year, definitely. It's definitely in the cards. End the year with some cash investing and finish my studies. It's in the cards that I might not go to work tomorrow. Okay, so it's still up in the air. You're still deciding if you're going to go to work tomorrow. I'll ask maybe a couple more probability questions. Let's see. So maybe the odds are that I'll turn up for what? What are the odds that privacy will no longer exist? This is like a deeper question, kind of thinking of like future society. Odds are that I'll turn up for what? A brand new car is in the cards for me. Nice. That would be awesome to have a brand new car in the cards. So I want you to think, what are the odds that privacy will no longer exist? Hello, greetings from work. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah, how many of you guys are watching this from work right now? There's a good chance that our privacy will be gone, but I hope that a solution for more privacy pans out. I like that. The odds are that privacy will no longer exist in the future. Okay, wait, I need to reread your sentence because I read it wrong. I was like, oh, it's missing the verb to be, but actually it was not. The odds that privacy won't, you have to say like will no longer exist or won't exist any longer could also be. The odds that privacy won't exist any longer in the future are high. I certainly wouldn't say it's up in the air. Nice. That's a good example. Odds are that social media will get all the details of our lives. True. I think odds are that has already happened. Yeah, we cannot rule that out. That is already taking place. Okay. Really good job today, everyone, with the class. I hope that you were able to learn some new phrases. And let me give you some homework that you can do from the class today. I want you can watch this back. I'm going to post it on Instagram, but also I'm going to edit the audio so I can post it on YouTube and Spotify. But I want you to look back at the phrases. I gave you a lot of different ways to talk about possibility, and some of them are more simple and others are more advanced. And I want you to write sentences thinking about in the next year, what is possible, what is likely, what's unlikely, what's up in the air for you. And yeah, maybe write some sentences using some of the phrases from today, because remember, it's not enough just to hear a phrase once. You need to use it yourself in order to feel comfortable using it in a future conversation. So I recommend use the phrase, search online more examples with the phrase. Maybe you can use the website called Youglish. Youglish is a really good website where if you search the name if you search any word or phrase, it will give you several videos that use this word or phrase. So that's a really good resource. You can see people actually using it in context. And yeah, that would be my recommendation, is trying to find more ways people use it and practice using it yourself. Any phrase, no phrase is too complicated for you to understand. You just need more examples and more practice using it. In terms of privacy, we're already in the open, so privacy's been showing all our personal information, but the elite turns a blind eye. That's true. I'm here with you. Well, I think in addition to turning a blind eye, they're probably buying our data. So nice job today, everyone. I hope that you have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again soon. If you want to look at classes, the link is in my bio. So take care, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone. Bye, Single Purpose. Take care. Bye, students. Bye, JFV. Bye, guys.